Hi, everyone, and welcome to Travel Time Stories. On this podcast, I will share stories of past travel, offer some travel tips, have guests who will share their travel experiences, and as a special twist, I will share my life story, one episode at a time. My life is not ordinary and has been a long journey of chaos, discovery, and healing. Being an adopted child with 13 siblings is just the beginning. There is a lot to tell. I am your host, Shannon, and I live in Texas, or as I often refer to it, the armpit of hell due to the intense heat. So grab your favorite beverage and let's get into it. In 2023, my husband Jeff suffered kidney failure and had to start dialysis at the young age of 54. I needed a second income, so my wonderful boss suggested I do something I'm passionate about, which led me to become a travel advisor. I consider myself an advisor instead of an agent because I don't sell you products. Instead, I offer guidance, planning, and help you make memories for life. My company is Lambkin Travel, but I'm an affiliate of Cruise Brothers, and they have been in business since 1972. Travel for me started as a kid reading books. Each book that I read was a new adventure, traveling to many different places and times. Reading was an escape from the many traumas I had experienced as a child. When I was a teen, my parents moved us from Texas to our family farm in Tennessee. I would spend hours in the woods bringing my stories of fairies, magic, and distant lands to reality. Yes, I was that awkward, shy, nerdy girl who dreamed of being a princess. As a child of the 80s, our travel consisted of many road trips around the U.S. It was usually to the same places each year, with a few exceptions, but always wherever Mama wanted to go. Let's be real, mostly it was to visit family that lived in other states. My fondest memories, though, are traveling to Missouri. The Ozark Mountains were always like a beautiful song that played in my soul, and I still get those feelings today each time I visit. John Denver talks about the Blue Ridge Mountains of West Virginia being like heaven, but for me, it is the Ozark Mountains of Missouri. I always wanted to travel beyond family road trips and see the world that had inspired the stories I read as a child, but I never thought it would happen. Growing up watching The Love Boat on TV, I dreamed of being on a ship and getting that experience. I thought cruises, flying, and going abroad were things only rich people got to experience. Boy, was I wrong. I remember in kindergarten, my music teacher, Mrs. Webb, took a trip to Ireland and showed us pictures. I was awestruck and thought it was the most magical place I had ever seen. I felt if I could go there, I could experience true magic. It has been on my bucket list ever since, and that was 46 years ago. I always hated my name until I learned my birth mom named me Shannon as a nod to my Irish heritage. Now I see it as a promise that I will visit there one day. I got to experience flying for the first time when I was 10 years old. I got to fly with my sister Jill and her son from Tennessee back home to Texas. I suffer from acrophobia, the fear of heights, and it was terrifying. But once we got in the air and I was able to look out the window at the clouds, a calm took over, and I felt like I was in one of my stories. It would be 14 years before I got to experience that again. 16 years ago, I met my kindred spirit, my best friend, my true ride or die, my sister Anne. We are a real-life Grace and Frankie duo. Anyone that knows us would agree. In 2010, she had to move from Texas back to Missouri to care for her mother. But we made a vow to meet up once a year, and we have stuck to it. Our trips breathed new life into us both. We have made so many wonderful memories to cherish and seen some amazing places that were once only a dream. Cruises, travel abroad, and land vacations. We are making it happen one trip at a time. Lake of the Ozarks, Branson, Herman to visit the wonderful wineries, St. Louis, New Orleans, Galveston, Las Vegas, Iowa touring the bridges of Madison County, Chattanooga, Kentucky, Washington, D.C., and Adamsville, Tennessee to visit my old hometown. These are a few of our land vacations. We still have many more to add. Every trip has at least one misadventure that you don't want to miss hearing about. Today's travel tip: buy travel insurance for all of your trips. You can buy a yearly policy to cover all your trips or buy it for each individual trip. It's not expensive, and even if you're young with no health issues, you never know when something can happen. And without travel insurance, it can cost thousands or even hundreds of thousands, especially when you're cruising or traveling abroad. I recommend an independent policy such as one through Chubb or Allianz and not one through the cruise lines because you will get better coverage. And if you reach out to me, I'm more than happy to help you with a travel policy. I took my first cruise in 2014 with my husband. It wasn't the Love Boat. It was on the Carnival Dream for 7 days. We sailed out of New Orleans and stopped in Cancun, the Cayman Islands, and Montego Bay, Jamaica, before returning to New Orleans. Stepping onto this ship for the first time, my jaw hit the floor at the beauty of it all. Several cruises later, and I still have the same reaction. My love of cruising was born. The second cruise was 2015 with Anne. Still not the Love Boat, but I will sail on it one day. This was the Norwegian Jewel for 7 days. We sailed out of the port of Houston before they closed that cruise terminal. We had stops in Belize, Honduras, and Cozumel. It was Anne's first cruise, so I made sure to plan some amazing excursions for us, hoping she would love cruising, and it worked. We also had our first experience with pier runners. And yes, folks, it was us, but that is a story for another time. The COVID lockdown had prevented Anne and I from seeing each other for a year. Cruise number 3 in 2021 was a Halloween cruise aboard Carnival Dream for 6 days. My second time on the Dream ship, and it is still one of my favorites till today. We sailed out of Galveston to Costa Maya, Belize, and Cozumel. It was so great to have freedom again. A lot of negative things are said about Carnival, but we have only had great experiences, and let's face it, no one does a sail-away party better than Carnival. We participated in our first slot pool at the casino, and my sister was one of the winners. Ready for a change of scenery and wanting to try one of the newer ships, in 2022, I took 2 cruises. My husband Jeff and I took an Alaskan cruise for 8 days on the Celebrity Solstice out of Seattle. It had always been his dream trip, so I made it happen. I'm so thankful I did because the next year he suffered kidney failure and had to start dialysis. This was the last cruise he's taken so far. In my opinion, nothing beats an Alaskan cruise. In Jeff's words, it is the motherland. Everything is stunning. The mountains, wilderness, wildlife. We saw whales, otters, sea lions, dolphins, bald eagles, and bears. There were waterfalls, icebergs, glaciers, and the list goes on. We stopped in Ketchikan, Dawes Glacier, Skagway, and Victoria, British Columbia. The second cruise that year was with Anne on Carnival's newest ship, Mardi Gras, for 7 days. The largest in the fleet at the time, and with Bolt, the first roller coaster at sea. We sailed from Port Canaveral, Florida, to Nassau, Puerto Plata, which is in the Dominican Republic, and Grand Turk. Yes, we rode the roller coaster, and my sister gave the whole ship a good laugh with her scream, and I have pictures to prove it. We got to meet our amazing cruise director, known as the Flying Scotsman. He's an incredible performer. In 2023, we sailed out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, aboard Celebrity Equinox for 9 days to the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And we had a stop in Grand Cayman. On this trip, we met an amazing couple who shared their story of being on dialysis and still traveling. We spent our port day in Curacao with them sightseeing and shopping. Making new friends is one of the great things about travel. Plus, I gained knowledge that would help my husband in his dialysis journey. We loved the longer time on the ship and couldn't wait to book one even longer, so we did. This year, we are sailing out of Galveston on Carnival Dream for 14 glorious days. We will visit Key West, Grand Turk, San Juan, St. Thomas, St. Kitts, St. Martin, St. Croix, and Ocho Rios, Jamaica. Stay tuned for more information on that. I will wrap up with our trip from 2024, which was a trip across the pond to Scotland. That's right, ladies, the land of men in kilts. My first time traveling abroad, my first international flight, driving on the left-hand side of the road, and more during our 16-day trip to a place I never wanted to leave. This trip was to celebrate my 50th birthday. I planned and mapped out the whole trip myself. You may be wondering why Scotland and not Ireland. Well, the short answer, we are both Outlander fanatics. We have read all of Diana Gabaldon's Outlander series and are anxiously awaiting the last book. We have also watched the Outlander series on Starz. Our favorite characters may be fictional, but the beautiful places they filmed are not, so we had to see it in person. In the song America the Beautiful, Ryder Bates mentions Purple Mountain Majesties, which is a nod to Pikes Peak in Colorado. However, to me, Purple Mountain Majesties is the gorgeous purple heather that grows all throughout Scotland. It is truly breathtaking. My sister's ancestors were from Scotland, so we wanted to follow that and see the rich history, culture, castles, and people that make up this beautiful land. My hope is for everyone to make memories for life through travel, so reach out and let me help you make your next travel memory. Tune in again to learn some more about me, hear more about each of my trips, and meet other people in my life as they share their travel experiences. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Leave a comment below to let me know what you want to hear more of, or tell me about your travel story. I might just read it on the next podcast. Until next time.